Did you ever wonder what would have happened if Shanks accepted Luffy on his crew? How strong would Luffy become training under him? And what would happen to the other Straw Hats in this version? Well, for starters, we'll assume that Shanks accepted Luffy on his crew the moment he saw him eat the Gomu Gomu no Mi. This would make sense since Shanks would want to train Luffy himself in order for him to maximize his potential. This would also mean that Shanks wouldn't lose an arm to the Sea Beast, as he would already be gone before the bandits kidnapped Luffy. And although becoming a pirate was all Luffy ever wanted, as soon as he starts his journey with Shanks, he would realize that life on the sea isn't as fun as he imagined. Firstly, Shanks and the other officers will appoint Luffy to be the ship's cabin boy, meaning Luffy will spend most of his time washing the ship's floor, helping with the sails, and other random jobs. When a battle starts, Luffy wouldn't be allowed to fight, and would instead watch his crewmates swiftly deal with any threat. During his travels with the crew, Luffy would learn a lot about the world, other pirates, and the world government. This would make him far more knowledgeable than in the original story, as Garp didn't really teach him anything. One thing Luffy would notice is that none of the other crew members have any devil fruit abilities. This would intrigue him, and he would wonder how they are so strong without eating a devil fruit. So, one day, Luffy would ask Shanks' right-hand man, Ben Beckman, about teaching him how to fight like they do, and how to be strong in order to protect his crewmates from any future threats. This is when Luffy would learn about hockey for the first time. Luffy would be amazed and would beg Ben to teach him. Ben would agree to teach Luffy the basics of this mysterious power, but with a catch. He would also want Luffy to learn about other things that have nothing to do with fighting, like navigation, strategy, or piloting a ship. Luffy's lessons would most likely include him doing his daily tasks blindfolded while dodging any incoming attacks from his teacher. He'd also occasionally get advice from several other crewmates to improve his skills. I imagine this would be pretty similar to how the Don Quixote family trained Law, with each member teaching Luffy a certain skill set that would be useful to him later on. Since we know that Luffy is incredibly talented when it comes to hockey, I expect him to pick up the basics pretty quickly, which would definitely impress everyone on the ship, especially Shanks. Around 3 years after joining the crew, Luffy would grow up to be a very capable fighter and would finally be allowed to participate in the crew's missions and assist in attacks. Against his enemies, Luffy would easily dodge the majority of attacks using observation hockey, and even if some attacks hit him, his armament hockey would nullify any serious damage. Luffy's progress would quickly impress everyone on the crew, and they would see immense potential in him. With his training paying off, Luffy would quickly become one of the heavy hitters of the crew and someone the other crewmates can rely on. By the time he is 17, this version of Luffy could successfully fend off the entire pirate crews on his own. It wouldn't matter if his opponents had hockey or devil fruit powers. Using his quick wits along with Gomu Gomu no Mi, he would get the job done. However, the best part about being on Shanks' crew for Luffy would be the constant partying. He loves bonding with his crew and would get excited about trying out all kinds of exotic food they'd find on their journey. It's during one of these celebrations that Shanks would reveal something very important to Luffy.